You see that jiggle? You see that jiggle? You see this jiggle? Okay. On today's episode of the Jamaican cooking journey, I will be sharing with you how to make some cowfoot and broad beans. Now, I have not done a lot of cowfoot. I think I've only done one stewed cowfoot and maybe one or two curry cowfoot. So today I'm gonna be just, you know, with I don't think it's gonna be any way different. Maybe I just let a little, you know, different type of seasonings, or nothing too extra. But I just want to pause here to say special thanks to my new subs that have been coming onto the page. Resounding manners and respect to those who started this cooking journey with me 7 years ago. Thank you all so much. I want to say shout out to my patrons, and if you're here and you'd like to be a part of my Patreon family, click on the link in the description and show us some love. Let our family keep growing on Patreon. Our post notification shout outs today, they goes right up there. So we are going to be talking about some cowfoot. Now let's get into this cowfoot. Now I've got here 3 pounds of my local cowfoot. I've been cleaned and washed, and these are some little burn areas. You need not to worry about them. And wherever you get your cowfoot, you see this is like a relatively young cow. The meat is all in here. These are what we have. You see that? Now I want to talk to you a little bit about this part. This part is called the hoof. Some people throw this away, they shy away from it, but you don't have to. There is an extra thick piece of thing over that comes over this that the cow literally walks on. When they are preparing it, that is why here I have this black, they put it onto the eat. The eat process releases that capping from over it, and then they take it off. So this is the natural thing. Some people always, when I doing lunches, they say, I don't want this, Miss Debbie, I don't want this in my food. But it's okay, I eat this because there is a thick, as I said to you. So when they are cleaning up this cowfoot, it has to go through an eat process. And you see it have this little black thing. So I have thing there, and I have scraped off mine. But if you want to throw away yours, you can throw it. I'm just telling you, this is not the part that the cow literally walks on. There's a thick part there that covers the hoof that they have discarded off. Just a little tip for you. So nothing special about cowfoot. We are going to be seasoning, and you want to be seasoning with your seasonings of choice. Right here I have my little homemade mix here in my grinder. Yeah, so you do your thing. So this is what I have. I have only 3 pounds. So this is a part of my seasoning up. My little freshly grounded homemade mixed. See that? I don't want to forget my salt. So at this point, so if you're a new cook, you try to see if you can add your salt first. Hence, not to forget. Because I can tell you, if you're a new cook, most time, you always forget the salt. I have 3 pounds. I'm going to be using, this is a teaspoon, heaped teaspoon. So I'm going to be using that because I'm going to be using some soy sauce. And my seasoning blend right there, there is no salt to hit. I've got me here a few pegs. I think it's about 5 pegs of garlic. And I'm going to be using my little chopper. Good enough for me. And I'm going to be scraping my little chopped garlic in right there, right about now. So go do that. Add in my smashed ginger. Yeah, sometime green or dry, but if you have green, it's better. Okay, with its salt. Now I want to put some extra color to my cowfoot. So you want it stew, so you want it to cook with it. Therefore, when the cowfoot finish cook, you will have your desired color. I'm going to be adding a little Worcestershire, and none of them something always see me I use them to sponsor the video, but I hope they will. This is Worcestershire. I'm going to add about probably a tablespoon, that would be okay. this is my soy sauce. It should be on the thicker side, so I'm shaking it. This is a new one. I'm shaking it reasonably well, because if it you know, at the bottom there, it may be like settled. I'm gonna put, you see it's a little thicker, not bad. Yeah, so I'm gonna put a reasonable amount, and I'm not gonna put it all at once. I think there I've just added about 2.5 to 3 tablespoons. I'm not sure if I have so much. I want to use a little bit of oil. Why? Just to get this thing on the looser end, therefore I can get to rub. So right there, about a teaspoon or a teaspoon-and-a-half of oil, and I'm just gonna go down. You can go and rub. You can put a little pressure, because these bones, they really don't come with point. And as I say, you can go back to my older cowfoot video, and I think I've done it just the same. And look at that pretty color. Actually, I must say to you that in my mix, I did add a little paprika, because the paprika with this soy sauce, it gives it this nice sort of pretty, you know. So as we rub, you'll see what I'm talking about. Remember, I bone them here, you know, they can't marinate, you know, but we just rub them up, and I'll catch you in the next clip. Right back at your cooking, fam, and I've got me here. My pot is overheated for some reason, but that's okay. I'm gonna be putting in my natural seasonings, as you saw there in the prior clip. This is to aid with the flavoring of my cowfoot. So I want to just get them like a little swirling around with a little oil of choice. If you want to do it with a little water, you can do it with a little water. I'm gonna get my flame up. I'm using my pressure pot method, or I'm using the pressure cooking method for this. So we just want to get it like all, you know, mixed around, just getting the flavors out. So in my herbs here, I have scallions, green scallions, a little scotch bonnet, some celery, and I use half of a medium onion. That is just to help me. The onion, most of all, is just for like texture, not for flavoring for me. So getting it all, you know, cooked up a bit. So this is how it looks. It has just been flavored the oil. So I'm gonna be carefully. You see my cowfoot, yeah, and this is the color I'm going in with, and I'm gonna be putting it right down into my pressure pot. If you want to do slow cooked, stovetop slow cook, you could. If you want to do your instant pot, which is the electric pressure cooker, if you want to do your slow cooker, all those work for this meal. It does work. I'm gonna put it in there, and I'm gonna try my very best to just let everything just get all mixed in. You see the color I have there, the cowfoot? Yeah. Now, I want to tell you something. Cowfoot is really chewy. You see the skin and the bone them, so we want to get it at a point where the meat on the bone is relatively soft to that jiggly stage, and not really, we don't want to make it a fall off on the bone and mash up, because even though we want it soft, if you cook it too soft and it starts falling off the bone, when you're plating it, it looks so unappetizing, if there is such a word. You know, I don't know if it's, I think it would be unappetizing or something, whatever, but you can correct me. When it falls literally off the bone before you even start making the gravy, it does not look presentable when plating. So you want to monitor it with your timing. If you're not sure about your pressure cooker, run it for a 15 minutes, cool it down, look at it, okay? So I'm going to be continuing with this stirring up, and then I'll catch you. You see that? Look at what is happening. You see? I'm just getting all this, but I want it just mixing all over. Taking its time down in there, getting it round, because the flavor is going to come from this slow cooking. Remember, I bone them, you know? Bone can't take seasoning, you know? But because I'm going to cook it in my pressure, but I'm going to pressure it at a medium. Okay? I'm not going to pressure it on high. I'm just going to pressure it medium, because I want it to more like a slow cook, even though it's in the pressure cooker, trap with that steam, because I want all those bones and all of them sitting there to be infused. So the slow cook infuses the meat better. So now I got it where I want it, to the side right here. And I'm going to be throwing, rinse out my little seasoning container. I'm going to be throwing it right there. You know, I always tell you that when you're cooking certain meats, the water is just supposed to just go right on top of the meat. But that doesn't work for the cow foot. It does not. You have to put enough to cover this. Now, for the pressure cooker at this point, you wouldn't need hot water. You would need cold water. Why? You would need cold water at this point, because if you put hot water down in there and you want it to come to a little boil to get everything together before you cover it, it is going to build up the steam and you're going to have a problem in covering the pressure. Put the cold water in there and let the steam build up. That is how you operate with a pressure cooker. Put cold water in there, let the steam build up in there, and then it locks on its own. So I'm going to put mine to the side right there, and I'll show you how much I'll put. And I might just put whole. As this cow foot cooks and the meat gets softened, it expands. Okay, that cow foot expands. The meat on the cow foot there, it expands. Okay, so it's gonna absorb the liquid. Okay, at this point I want to taste for my flavoring, my salt perfection mainly. Yeah, it's not bad, so I can add a little at the end. It's not too salty, so I'm gonna cover my pressure. I am gonna work with my pressure cooker because I know my pressure. If you're using your pressure cooker, work with it. If you're using your instant pot, which is the electric pressure cooker, work with the settings. Slow cooking, you know what to do. Next clip. So okay, now fam, we have done this for 15 minutes in our pressure pot. You see how they look? They are soft, but they're pulling away from the bone. So at this minute, I feel like I don't want to pressure it again. I'm going to remove it to another pot and let it just slow cook for another maybe 10-15 minutes. You see that? You see it? It's shaking, but it's still not soft enough. So I'm going to remove it right now to another pot. And this is one of the cast iron enamel. So we are going to slow cook it down in there. You see the color? Nice pretty color. You see the liquid? Yeah. And we're going to add our beans at some point. So you see these? You don't want to keep them in the pressure cooker again, because he cuts them very small. Maybe if he did not cut them so small, you know, so you just want to slow cook it down and at some point. But look at the color. You see how easy the fork is going through the skin? Yeah, look at the color that you get here. You see, I'm showing you, try to get your color from your seasoning up your cow foot. It smells so nice. So we're gonna, these pots, they are the queen of slow cooking. So I'm gonna leave it in here. I'm gonna give it another 10 to 15 minutes on the slow cook. Then I'm gonna come and add my beans, because at this point we have got enough liquid, and the liquid is pretty. It has the, everything is good for this. Let me show you. Let me show you this. This thing here is on point with stewed cow foot color. You see this color? You see this color? Yeah. Maybe if you never cut it so thin, you could have slapped it in at the pressure cooker a little more. So some of these things you got to understand what you're doing. You know? You know? You just, as you go along in cooking. So we're going to cook it some more until the meat gets a little bit softer. But you don't want to take any check in the pressure cooker. So now, cooking fam, you see how liquid has receded? Yeah. And you see everything is getting all, is looking all jelly. You see that? Well, let's try to cut into this. Skin here with our spoon. Let me show you. So we have slow cooked down about 17 minutes. Okay? So you're right there. You're on point at this. You see that? So everything is good. Everything is okay. Our color has held up somewhat. Right here I have some homemade butter beans. It's broad beans, so I'm going to add it right in there. This is going to, over another 2 to 3 minutes, I'm going to just mix it up, and it's going to start giving it that body. So of taste for every flavor that I am looking for. My beans are probably maybe overcooked, but look at that. The bean, it is what you see that? The bean, as it starts to cook, it is gonna break down somewhat and give it some body. At this point, we maybe can just add a little extra butter if it is that you want it. Get my flame up, and in the next clip, I will be plating up some of this nice cow skin and the broad beans. If you would like to see how we did our homemade broad beans, I leave the link to that video. I did that video some years ago for you. When you see me next, this will be all plated up and ready for you, and I'll tell you what's best to serve this with. Here we go, cooking fam. This is the end product of our cowfoot and homemade butter beans. Look at this. You see this gravy? Look at that. You see this gravy? You want this gravy. This is best served with Jamaican rice and peas, or you would say rice and red beans. When this sits and cools down, your gravy becomes so thick when you're ready to eat it, you may have to reheat. This is what it is. It doesn't get any better than this. Jamaican cowfoot and broad beans. Homemade broad beans at that. Yeah, maybe we could take a little more beans. Look at that. Look at that gravy. Look at that. And I can assure you, see that jiggle? You see that jiggle? You see this jiggle? Okay. Okay. We are going to turn it off. Look here. We don't want that gravy, you know. We don't want this gravy to just dry out. Look at this. Look at that. Jamaican cowfoot and broad beans. I'll plate up some for you. So, I've plated some for you right here. This meal, family, is best served in a bowl, and then from there you can add it to your plate, your serving plate, your plate where you eat out of, and that you can take as you like. Look at this gravy. So I've served some up for you, and I just want to show you as I just put some of this gravy. Look at this, the great cowfoot gravy, and then you're gonna put a piece of fried chicken. Look at this. Look at this. Cowfoot and the broad beans. Let me clean this plate and come back, you know. So this bowl is really hot, family. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. If you know about broad bean and stew cowfoot, talk to me. From my kitchen to yours. From my Jamaican kitchen to your family table, to your plate, and most of all to your stomach. It is stewed cowfoot with homemade broad beans, Jamaican cooking journey style. Please do enjoy. Remember to make sure you're liking the videos. Remember to make sure that you're subscribed. Leave me a comment below. Go back to my older videos and see what you have missed. And remember, I leave for you in the description of this video the link to the homemade butter beans. Thanks for loving. Thanks for supporting. Remember, let me fix this. Okay. Okay. Remember to, when you do your rice and peas and you put it beside it, remember to get you a piece of fried chicken and some crunchy fresh vegetable. That's what you're gonna have it with. I'll catch you again with another video.